Welcome back to another episode of Take Care Tuesdays, where every Tuesday we deep dive into conversations about how we nurture ourselves. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for showing up today. My name is Denny, and I like to think of myself as a self-care enthusiast. And I'm here to share with you lessons that I've learned and still learning on my self-care journey in hopes that it will encourage you, yes you, to also take better care of yourself as well. You can find all of the previous episodes on my IGTV section or on the guidebook as well. You can show your support by liking and commenting, of course, but especially by sharing with a friend and even saving for future references. So let's get into this week's episode. Okay, so the focus for this month has been on refreshing ourselves with the new season approaching. And today we're going to talk a little bit about decluttering. Decluttering is so vital to having a content and satisfying life. All right, so I'm not even going to hold y'all. When I was young, I was definitely a messy child and early adult. There was two things you can count on: Jesus and my room being messy. That was up until my early 20s when I actually started to really go through the process of grieving my mom. I don't really know what it was, but something about my clothes being on my bed next to me gave me so much comfort. And even though I would see the mess, I would put in my head that there's a method to my madness. Now, I could find anything I was looking for, one thing about it, but it was still messy, disorganized. And one day I realized that's kind of how my head is feeling right now. And it was almost like magic. Like, I cleaned my room and I got rid of a lot of things that were no longer serving me. And it clicked for me like, oh, okay, so when my room is messy, that kind of represents how I'm feeling on the inside as well. Decluttering has this effect on all of us. When we declutter our spaces, we make room for more space and more time to actually do the things that we want to do. There are so many benefits in decluttering, like feeling free, clearing distractions, more space, more contentment with what you already have instead of having to consume more, and even more time to be with yourself and the people that you love. Now, the idea of decluttering is not limited to your home. Decluttering can be transferred to other facets of your life, like your mind, your digital devices, and other methods of consumption as well. Clutter can really impact your life in a negative way. It can make keeping up with your routines very difficult. It takes up a lot of space. It's hard to keep track of what you have and results in you consuming more than you actually need. And it can even be an isolating experience because people usually don't let others come sit and see their mess. So I'm about to give you 5 ways that you can declutter your life. The first one is start with decluttering your space. As I mentioned before, clearing your physical space can do so much for your mental health, as well as providing immediate satisfaction and clarity in your life. No matter how much you feel like there's a method to your madness, limited clutter should always be the goal. You can start in small sections in your home or specific cabinets or even your closet to start figuring out things that you don't need or that no longer serve you. Some of you may be familiar with Marie Kondo, but if you're not, she has a book and also a series on Netflix where she talks about tidying up your space to spark joy. She provides specific methods where she helps people declutter everything from all of their mail, the paperwork, to their clothes, to personal, even sentimental items, in hopes to help them spark more joy. While her methods are kind of strict and they may not fit into what your life looks like, I'm sure there's actually something in there that can help you start your decluttering in your home if that's what you need. The second way to declutter your life is one of my faves, which is a mind dump. I do these as often as I need to. Mind dumps have been particularly helpful in helping me to organize my life and to also not feel overwhelmed with all of the things that I need to do. It can also be referred to as taking mental inventory. To do a mind dump, all you need to do is grab a sheet of paper and start to literally list out everything that is on your mind. If you're only doing this just to list everything that's on your mind and that's it, you may want to do this in a journal form. But if you're looking to actually prioritize and organize the list, I would say take an individual sheet of paper so that you are able to highlight or mark the things that are specific. Now, you don't have to go specifically in order. I literally would just write down everything as it comes to me. And then once I'm finished, I go back through that list and I categorize it by specifics, whether it's self-care or something specifically dealing with Marley, or if it's for content or whatever. And this helps me to see what's most important and what I need to get done and what I can get done in a day's time and what can be put off until the next day or when I can get to it. It can literally be as simple or as extra as you want it to be. You can get fancy with it, or you can just literally just get a little white sheet of paper and just write down things. The third way to declutter your life is to stop multitasking, at least for a little while. Focusing on one thing at a time can definitely help you to fine-tune on some of the details that you may be missing if you're trying to kill 15 birds with one stone. Sometimes it can actually be way more productive to just focus on one thing instead of trying to multitask so much. Multitasking can literally be so overwhelming for me at times that it can give me headaches. And I think I'm pretty good at it, but every once in a while, I just have to slow down and just do one thing. The fourth thing that you can do to declutter your life is limiting your consumption. We literally consume so much on a day-to-day, whether it's from conversations with our family and friends. It could come from watching the news, being on social media, watching movies and TV series, podcasts, music, and even to eating and buying things. In every way, we're consumers. Sometimes information overload can happen and can slow down the process of things really working together. You may get out of alignment with what you actually need to do because you're consuming so much and you're not necessarily clear about what you actually desire and about what your intentions are. So limiting your consumption can definitely help you to process that better and really get in tune with what you need to do for your life. You can limit your consumption by taking social media breaks when you need to, limiting your screen time before bed, going on a food fast, or even limiting your conversations with certain people. The fifth and final way to declutter your life is practicing decisiveness. Honestly, when you give me way too many choices, it is very hard for me to narrow down on just one. Sometimes having limited choices can help me to just make the decision and keep it moving. And while everything can't be that simple, the things that are simple, you can practice your decisiveness on that. You know, like when you walk into a food court for the first time and you see like 15 different restaurants, all the food smelling good, and everybody is out there with samples for you, and you be like, oh my God, I don't know what I want to eat. That's the perfect time to practice your decisiveness. Just pick something and stick with it. Making clear decisions on things that don't actually require so much thought can help clear space for you to focus more on the things that are actually your goals and what's priority. You can start by picking out what you want to wear the day before and laying it out so that you don't change your mind. And you can even do things like, okay, I'm going to eat oatmeal for this whole week for breakfast, or a green smoothie. Just something simple that you just don't have to think about it. You can start to move these tasks into autopilot mode, and you'd be surprised how much space that clears up for you for the rest of your week. So this week's homework assignment is to declutter something, anything. You can start with that cabinet that you keep shoving stuff in and closing that door real quick so stuff won't fall out. Or you can start with clearing up the contacts that you don't call anymore on your phone, or clearing those unread messages that y'all like to keep at the bottom. Why do you need to see 203 messages? Just clear it. Clear it out. Or you can even do a mind dump. All right, so that's it for this week's episode. Let me know in the comments if this episode resonated with you, or if it pushed you to declutter something, or even if you have some decluttering tips of your own. I would love to take this conversation further. Until next time, take care.